Independence is often celebrated as an ending. It is actually a challenging beginning. Welcome back to the Freedom and Democracy Road. I'm Stephen Finley Archer, author of the Irish Clan's historical novel series. If you'd like a complimentary, personally signed copy of the first novel, Searchers, you'll find that in the description below. Today, in episode 10, we'll explore the perplexing question, what happens after independence? When we picture independence, we often imagine a moment, a declaration, a treaty signed, a crowd celebrating. History often presents independence as arrival, a finish line. But for the people living through independence, it's more a beginning. The struggle for self-government may be over. The challenge of governing itself is just beginning. Removing distant authority and answers one question, who governs? But it creates many more. How should we govern ourselves? What kind of laws should exist? What powers should government possess? What rights should be given and responsibilities should citizens accept? Before independence, many of the questions could be directed towards an outside authority. After independence, they become our responsibility. Freedom creates responsibility faster than it creates agreement. And that can be unsettling. History often makes the future look inevitable, but rarely feels that way at the time. The day after independence, people do not suddenly know what comes next. People still need security. Businesses need customers. Farmers need harvests. Communities still need the stability. Governments still make mistakes. Leaders still disagree. Citizens still worry. The future remains uncertain. Only now responsibility for that future rests more heavily in our own hands. This was true in both the United States and Ireland. The external conflict may have ended, but internal questions were only beginning. During a struggle for independence, people are often united by a common objective. The goal is clear, the obstacles are clear, the opponent is clear. But after independence, the conversation changes. People begin asking different questions. What should we build? What should we preserve? How quickly should changes occur? What risks are acceptable? What traditions matter? What sacrifices are necessary? Suddenly, people who once stood shoulder to shoulder may now discover they have very different answers, not because they have changed, but because the questions have changed. Victory and agreement are not the same thing. Removing distant authority answers one question, who governs? But it creates many others. How should we govern ourselves? And that is often the harder challenge. Because unity against something is easier than unity about what comes next. Think about any community, any organization, even any family. It is often easier to agree that a problem exists than to agree on the solution. History is no different. The challenge of independence is not simply achieving self-governance. It is building institutions that people trust, institutions strong enough to manage disagreement peacefully, institutions that can survive changes in leadership, institutions that can adapt to new challenges. And as we will see in future episodes, even after those institutions are built, each generation faces a new responsibility, protecting the processes, safeguards, and freedoms that earlier generations worked so hard to create. The road does not always widen after a difficult stretch. Sometimes the narrowest part comes just after turning. Freedom creates responsibility faster than it creates agreement. If this way of looking at things resonates with you, you're welcome to like this video, subscribe, and follow the road. This week you may notice many organizations, governments, or other families where you find it easier to agree on a problem than the solution. If you notice that happening, ask yourself, are we still united by what we oppose, or have we begun the harder work of deciding what we support? Once you understand that difference, try addressing the issue through a positive conversation. You may not change the outcome, but you may strengthen the relationship, and that is often where we progress. Thank you for walking a little of the road with me today. If you'd like to continue along that road, you're welcome to subscribe and to like this video, if it speaks to you. If you'd like to begin my story, you'll find a complimentary, personally signed copy of my first novel, Searchers, in the description below. Until next time, stay on the road to freedom and democracy, because the path only continues if we walk it together. Thank you.